Bottom of the hour, time for your wake-up call. Brewers keep winning, Mets keep losing.
Collins, fly ball, deep in the right field. Isaac Collins, it is a walk-off home run. He's done it again, and the Brewers have won their 9th straight game.
It is all fun and games in Milwaukee. Those 9 straight, the longest active win streak in the majors. Meanwhile, just the opposite story for the Mets, who've now lost 7 in a row. They're 5.5 games back of the Phillies in the National League East. Back to the NFL Rookie Report, preseason week 1. Orlovsky, show me some tape. Jackson Dart, everyone's so excited about what we saw from him because there were great moments, but you saw some things he needs to work on as well.
Slow your feet down. First of all, you have a corner out bottom of the screen. You're going to get man coverage as a quarterback. You want to just marry the timing of your feet to that route concept. Jackson plays just too fast from the ground up here. Back goes, linebacker follows this man. He's moving off of the spot unnecessarily already and getting to the top receiver. The corner routes to win. So this is growth and development that's needed. Slow your feet down. We know where we want to go with the football. The second thing is, I love the decision to not throw this deep cross from the bottom of the screen. Post up top. The deep cross is what he wants. But that corner defender's telling him, I'm too deep. Don't throw it. He goes to throw and he doesn't. But just throw the back up top. So why do you not throw the crosser, that underneath defender? Then you should be throwing the back instead of tucking it and running. So there's a lot to be excited about. But those 2 clips, you want to see him watch on tape and then go, this is what we have to get better at before we really put you on the field to go play as good as you can.
So in some ways, look, Brian Daboll is a head coach in the NFL right now for a variety of reasons, but the biggest is because he turned Josh Allen from a guy who there were some questions about into a guy who's as good as pretty much any quarterback we've ever seen. So I'm not suggesting Jackson Dart is going to be that, but this is the beginning of that process, right? Of Brian Daboll, that's why he's there to mold this. We saw the good stuff. I mean, stuff jumped off the screen with good moments like this one, and then Mike T, the others that he has to work on.
Yeah, and look, I wouldn't use the verb mold. I would use the verb manage. And what I mean by that is I would manage the process from the day he was drafted to opening day and say, how can we put him in the best position and be successful on opening day? Greeny, I agree with what Dan said. There are some things to clean up, but he's a very good athlete, and I think you can go into the month of September saying we can win with him. Sometimes we may have to move the pocket, maybe run the ball a little bit more, pre-snap. We can certainly use his intelligence. So to me, I'd rather live with the growing pains of September, make him better in December. We know the ceiling of Russell Wilson. I just thought Russell Wilson didn't move very well in Pittsburgh last year. Go with him. It's not going to be perfect, but that's why, again, Brian Daboll's there.
I think Russell Wilson will be the starter on opening day, but this is an organization that has rallied behind Jackson Dart, and it got the guy that it wanted and believed in. And the big victory here, if we go back to last April, is they got him without giving up a future first-round draft.
Sure.
They did not have to compromise their future draft capital, the top picks, to get a quarterback that they think has a real chance to be their quarterback of the future. And if you watched him Saturday against Buffalo, we're talking about Shedeur Sanders, Tyler Shuck passing the eye test. That's what Jackson Dart did on Saturday. He looked like he flashed.
Yeah,
he
for
looked
sure.
like he could play.
And by the way, Abdul Carter looks like he's going to be just an unbelievable player on that defense. So they really had their cake and ate it too. The question was, do they take the quarterback early or do they take the pass rusher? They got both of them in that first round, and so far so good in both cases. Next up in our rookie report, Mike T. Travis Hunter played 11 snaps on offense and 8 snaps on defense in his first preseason game. What was your first impression of him?
I was really impressed. You could see why he's a world-class athlete, but Greeny, I would play him on defense. He's not a very big guy. I think he has a chance to be the best corner in the NFL.
Corner, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. With look, when you have the best corner in the league, it really makes your defense so much better. I would bring him along on offense slowly because, again, 17 games at 182 pounds, I would be concerned about him holding up playing both sides.
So, Dan, there are going to be people who are going to say this is a huge year for Trevor Lawrence. The quarterback there in Jacksonville, for whom so much was for. Why are you looking at me like what?
That's the name that matters the most.
Trevor Lawrence.
Does he help Trevor Lawrence the most when he plays defensive back or wide receiver?
Well, I would push back on that. If that was the analysis, why are we talking about them drafting Ted McMillan or Matthew Golden? If you want to just go get a receiver, get a receiver. I just don't. I'd be concerned that we're sitting here in November saying that he's having trouble playing both ways because of the physicality of it. And if it's about Trevor Lawrence, we should be just talking about receivers.
Yeah, listen, the both ways thing, can he not? I think there's one person on the planet that probably answers it the best. It's Charles Woodson. He was the closest to doing it. So I would love to get at some point his perspective on it. But when it comes to where and what, if I'm them, I'm playing them on offense a ton. Liam Cohen is there to get Trevor Lawrence to play the way that they want Trevor Lawrence to play, the way that many thought he would as the number 1 pick, the golden boy, the next guy. He will help Trevor Lawrence do that immediately playing wide receiver. So both ways, corner deep, play wide receiver, get him 8 to 10 touches a game. That's what I'm doing if I'm Jacksonville.
And with Liam Cohen having the offensive background that he does and the slant that he does, he loves his wide receivers. It's hard to imagine that Travis Hunter isn't going to get work, potentially sizable work, at the wide receiver position. But the whole question will be, is at his frame, and he's never had an issue before, can he hold up over the course of an extended NFL season? I know he did it in college, but the NFL is a little different. People are bigger, stronger, faster. We'll see if he can do it over 17 games.
And there's going to be some really smart coaches that when he's on defense, they're going to go after him. You know, they're going to test his conditioning and his physicality. He has all the ability in the world. I just hope that they bring it along slowly so he can be successful.
He's about 100, 185 pounds. It'd be very tough to watch. To me, it's the most interesting thing of the entire NFL preseason and into the beginning of the season. Do we, for the first time in the conscious lifetime of almost any football fan, have a true two-way player? Dan, the next one, you have tape on Cam Ward, his first NFL preseason game, the number 1 pick. What did we see?
I liked his eyes and how twitchy the release was. You're going to get a shallow cross from the left as the quarterback. You want to make sure you're confirming that defensive back is running with that shallow instead of passing it off. And then here comes that crosser behind to Calvin Ridley. Just that beautiful layered throw, but the eyes to confirm the coverage. And then you see the 2 safeties at the top of the screen. One's going to fake to the middle and drop down. This is zone coverage. As the quarterback, hold that backer that's on the hash, and then now ball has to come out because in zone, eyes in the NFL, they're breaking before you even anticipate the throw. Beautiful. Now, what I saw too much of, sloppy feet. Calm your feet down just a little bit. Maybe he's confused with the coverage. Does it look like it's going to be 1 safety? No, it's 2 safeties going to the back. But his feet end up parallel to the line of scrimmage here, and the ball's coming out already. And I don't know if he's trying to force that whole shot or the out route to the tight end. These are things that are very fixable. He's one of those guys talent-wise that can make all those I don't need to be in the perfect position throw. But so often that I say, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I think the takeaway is slow down, calm your feet down. You're going to be just fine.
But Green, like the graphic says there, 3 out of 4 for 50 yards on 10 or more air yards. That's really encouraging because sometimes you see young quarterbacks check the ball down, get the ball out of their hands. When he's driving the ball the way he is, to Dan's point, the rest of the stuff we can fix.
Let me touch. You said driving the ball. That is a great word. And like that throw, he drives, and you can see how his feet are a little bit more planted into the ground instead of some of like. There's some throws where he's fading away or dropping down or whatnot. So I just think building that, like even that throw, it's a completion, but that ball wasn't driven because you had a little bit of the footwork that wasn't as committed as I want to see.
Quick from Schfter on Cam Ward, so far, so good in Tennessee.
They love his work ethic. They love what he stands for. They love that he's the first guy in the building, much the way that Greeny is the first guy at the omelet bar here to open it up at 7.
Big order this morning.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. These are the same kind of things that you heard about Jaden Daniels in Washington last year. Now, again, we'll see what kind of career and rookie season Cam Ward winds up having. But there are zero concerns about the person and leader that he is.
Let me get to this because there's one other that we haven't seen yet. I want to show you Tyler Shuck. He played yesterday. We had a game, Saints and Chargers. Kellen Moore making his coaching debut as the Saints took on L.A. Justin Hone and that pick 6. What did we see from Tyler Shuck?
Really encouraged. You don't love the pick 6, but this is somebody that has all the ability in the world. Credit Louis Riddick, who was talking about him all offseason. And this was one very interesting background. Again, he was a freshman, ironically, backing up Justin Herbert.
Listen, I think in the early part of camp, there was a lot of chatter about Spencer Rattler, who was the starter yesterday. But if you look at the numbers of the 2 quarterbacks yesterday, Tyler Shuck played exceptionally well with the exception of some throws. And again, we talked about Shedeur Sanders. Well, he looked like he belonged.
I would tell the Saints to start Tyler Shuck in the next preseason game and see what you get.
I'm sure they're listening.
So far, well, I tell you what, if you're following Louis Riddick on Twitter, he was definitely.
He was in.
Who had a better weekend, Louis Riddick or Mel Kiper? Shador one night, Tyler Shuck another. We'll see. We'll get back to Shador in a moment. Danny's got a touch for you as Shador Sanders shined in his debut. Is there a path for him becoming Cleveland's Week 1 starter? Dan will break down the tape, but first, he'll do something he absolutely hates. He'll answer a trivia question from Sneaky Hembo. Here we go. The Cleveland Browns, Dan, have drafted 14 quarterbacks since they came back into the NFL in 1999. There's only one team that has drafted more quarterbacks during that span, which is the only team that's drafted more quarterbacks than Cleveland going back to 1999. The answer is next.